I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
I am your father.
Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler. Unreal. Avengers!
How's it going, everybody? Welcome. Episode 4, Fanatic Films podcast, back again. Another wild week in the world of movies and everything. And today, I'm so excited. I've been hyping it up on live streams and videos and everything. We got a very, very special guest today. I've loved her channel for, the last month and a half since I've known it. Her Twitter is on fire. We've got Amanda from Candid Cinema. Amanda, how are you doing? Thank you for coming. I'm so excited.
Thank you for having me. I've been wanting to collab with you for a while, so this is great. I'm doing great today.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you guys already know, this is just laid back conversation. We've got some notes of some things we're going to talk about that's happened in the last week. We'll react to the Critics' Choice that happened last night and WandaVision finale that happened. And you guys know I didn't do solo reviews. I only talk about it on the podcast. So you guys finally get to hear my thoughts on it. But I think let's just kind of hop into it. The first two we'll do kind of simultaneously. And Amanda, I know you're very excited to talk about this topic because it's the Snyder Cut. The past week, we've been spoiled with new trailers for each character. I know the day that we're recording this, we got the one for Wonder Woman. I personally was a big fan of the one for the Flash, but that's just because I'm very biased when it comes to DC characters. And we got the 6 titles for, I guess, the 6 sections or however you want to do it. I mean, I'm going to watch it as a full movie, but like the 6 sections. So I want to know, Amanda, as someone that is very, very excited for the Snyder Cut, what was your reaction to all of this content we've gotten over the last, week and a half-ish?
So I loved it. I thought it was great. Zach knows what to do marketing wise. It's in the right hands this time, I think. And it looks like more of like Zach's film. All the clips that we've been seeing, the trailers piecing together, I think that he brings out different performances from his actors than, let's just say, like Gal being in her own Wonder Woman standalone. I feel like Patty brings out a different side of her, and Zach brings out, his own. And I love Zach's version of Diana Prince. So today on International Women's Day, we saw Diana Prince, and her trailer looks amazing. I have to admit that I was kind of I was kind of losing the excitement because of how everything has happened since, they confirmed that it was going to go to HBO Max. There's been so much drama behind the scenes, and it's kind of put a damper on everything. But now that they started putting out these trailers and these character posters, it's like, oh, like these hashtags, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm getting so amped because these are the characters as they were intended. And that's why I'm so happy that they're marketing it this way, and it's getting me really pumped for next week.
Yeah, and they're doing it perfectly because it is every day we're getting some sort of new content. So it's just like, instead of just getting it all at one time and then talking about it for a day and then we have to wait, every day we've got something new to talk about. So I think I might already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What has been your favorite character trailer so far?
Oh my God, Batfleck. Oh my God, Batfleck. Like, honestly, the whole thing, as to why, like, I resent Justice League so much is how dirty they did him. The lines of dialogue were just so weird. His look, like, I love Ben so much, but like he did not look good in Justice League, and they did him a disservice on that film. So just seeing that trailer and seeing my Batfleck back, he's the whole reason why I fell in love with Batman. And everyone, who hears me say that, they're like, what are you talking about? There was like Christian Bale, there's Michael Keaton, there's all these other amazing actors, even like OG Kevin Conroy, like everyone kind of just like puts him aside, but he's the reason why I started liking Batman. I'm so sorry for saying it, but it's the truth. So to see Batfleck again, and knowing that we're never going to get him in a spinoff or a standalone film breaks my heart. But I just want a clear ending, which we're not going to have a clear ending for his Batman. So
yeah, it is a little unfortunate. I think one of my favorite Batman scenes definitely has to be like the warehouse scene in Batman v Superman. I mean, it's a gritty looking Batman just
Mhm.
kicking ass. And we haven't really gotten that. I mean, Bale's Batman's good, but like we haven't gotten anything like that before. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, personally, everyone who knows me knows I love the Flash, so I was very biased, and I thought that the Flash one was great, especially teasing going back in time
Mhm.
you know, potential Flashpoint type stuff and all of that.
Mhm.
I love that. But then I was going to ask you as well, because we got these 6 titles. So I don't, you know, it's really, they're giving us a lot of mixed signals with this. They're saying, oh, watch it all, you know, in one sitting, or you can watch it in 4 different pieces, I think someone said. And now we're getting 6 titles for 6 different pieces. How are you going to watch it personally?
Oh, one shot. I've watched 3.5 hours of The Irishman like 6 times, so I'm pretty sure I can sit there in 4 hours and 1 minute and 30 seconds for Zach for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking with my friend Chris from Filmstock last week on the podcast, and I was like, it's just an hour longer than Endgame. I mean, it's really not that bad. If you take like maybe one break to go to the bathroom, you're fine,
Yeah,
honestly.
and you can pause it. Like people are whining for what reason? You can literally pause it at home. You're perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, everyone you know talks down to this streaming and stuff, but that's a great luxury. You know, you don't have to hold going to the bathroom. Like opening night for Endgame, I was like I was holding because I was like, I cannot leave. I gotta see this.
Yeah.
So that's just absolutely crazy. The next 2 we will go through fairly quick because they're just kind of quick things. I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts. So last week, one of the biggest news, there wasn't a lot of big news last week, at least that I could find. So one of the biggest things is there was more casting for this live action Pinocchio that we're supposed to be getting with, you know, Tom Hanks as Geppetto and others. We had 2 pretty big names get brought on. We had Cynthia Erivo is going to be playing the Blue Fairy, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt is playing Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? I think these are 2 great castings. I mean, I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I think Cynthia Erivo is fantastic in everything she does. So what do you think about these?
I love it. I think the casting's great. It's just really unfortunate because I know that Guillermo del Toro has his version of Pinocchio as well. So I think a lot of people are kind of like they're overlapping the 2 for the live action, and that's what's unfortunate about this. But the casting's like perfect for the Disney Pinocchio, especially Tom Hanks. Like, oh my God, is Geppetto. That's like iconic right there. America's sweetheart, America's dad, if you want to call it. But yeah, the casting is great. Cynthia's absolutely stunning. I love her. I hope she gets a chance to like sing in Pinocchio. Hopefully, I don't know how they're gonna do it. If they're gonna stay true or not, or they're gonna add stuff. And it's really good to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt back. I feel like he's been flying under the radar for so many years, and like a Disney film for Joe, I think that's perfect. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think the castings look great, and you're spot on with Tom Hanks. You know, America's dad, Geppetto is just the man can do no wrong in my mind, and I think that this will be another knockout of the park. And it's actually funny you mentioned the Guillermo del Toro one because I was looking stuff up before this, and I like looked up, you know, Pinocchio live action. That's the IMDb that came up, and I was like, wait, I don't see Joseph Gordon-Levitt on here, and so I had to look it up separately, and I was like, oh wait, there's 2. And then if you want to get really technical, there's actually 3 because there's that one that like just came out, but it's not.
Yeah, I watched that one.
Yeah. So everyone wants to make Pinocchio, I guess, and everyone's just going to do their own thing. But
I just don't know why though, because like it's a cool story. Don't get me wrong, but like how many times are we're gonna do it? You know, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I guess people just want to. I don't know. I don't know. People just want to, you know, do their own rendition of it. I don't think I ever watched Pinocchio at a young age because I think my parents just like didn't want me to see it. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Same.
I'm 22 now, so I'm gonna watch whatever the heck I want. Whatever the heck I want.
That's fair.
Just getting off to the side real quick because I have Twitter open on my other monitor here. It looks like apparently HBO Max had a little boo-boo that they just did, and they accidentally slightly released the Snyder cut for some people, I guess, that were trying to stream the Tom and Jerry movie.
Yeah. I don't
What?
know how you fumble the ball. It's not like you have to press a button to like make that happen. So
I guess it might actually be that simple to just press a button if they're
I'm gonna switch up digital code for digital code. Let's see
yeah.
what happens.
They're like, let's just Snyder Cut's out there now, but it's under Tom and Jerry. That's just there's been a lot of leaking and Snyder, which is an unfortunate part of streaming because I guess it's easier to get access to it. So I know we could argue streaming versus theaters and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
they each have their positives and negatives.
Well, honestly, like I remember with Age of Ultron, what Marvel used to do is that they used to release it overseas 2 weeks ahead of time. And then all the spoilers like came out from there too. So pirating's pirating, people do it, unfortunately. And like it's just so sad that it has to leak that way. And I've had my fair share. Like I literally had Pietro's death in Age of Ultron ruined for me a week before I had to go watch Age of Ultron. So that was really something.
Yeah, I had it's not from a leak, but what technically is it's from a toy leak, and those are just the absolute worst. I had the Iron Gauntlet leaked. Like I got spoiled that, and I didn't at first. I was like, that's bait, that's not true. But obviously now we know what happens, so that kind of hurt a little bit. But thankfully I didn't have anything else spoiled from that movie, and I ended up just absolutely loving the almighty crap out of it. But yeah, so streaming versus theaters, I love them both, so I'm just going to do both. Okay, the last small topic before we get to the two big ones. This Without Remorse trailer, it's a new Tom Clancy something. I mean, I love everything Tom Clancy, video games, books, TV, movies, all of that. And it's starring Michael B. Jordan. And it looks pretty badass. I mean, I don't know. Will it be good? I don't know. It looks good. What do you think about this trailer?
I love Mike. He's been taking on really cool projects, and he's like producing. He's going to get into directing. So I'm really, really proud of him, and I'm so happy that he's doing his own thing. This trailer looks sick. It just looks so cool, and he's such a badass. So I'm so excited for this movie and to watch it.
He sets the car on fire, and then I'm like, oh, he's gonna walk away, it's gonna explode. No, that mother walks up and gets in the car. I'm like, what are you doing? But like, Tom Clancy is always like kind of not very realistic and futury and stuff like that. So I don't know what his story is. All I know is he took like 6 shots to the chest, and then he just wakes up at the beginning of the trailer. I'm like, okay, so we're gonna be doing that. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I think it looks great. I mean, at this point, I'm going to watch anything that comes out, and Michael B. Jordan looks great in this. So I'm definitely on board with that. But that's kind of the small stuff we've got to talk about today. And the next big thing is Critics' Choice happened last night. The day that we're recording this, it happened last night. Not really that surprising, I don't think. I mean, when you go from the absolute bonkersness that it was the Golden Globes, it really, I don't think it can get much crazier than that. So what were your takeaways? What was some of the things that you saw that kind of surprised you, or that didn't surprise you?
It wasn't really surprising. I actually, there is one thing that I'm surprised about, because when they awarded the best ensemble to Trial of the Chicago 7, all those nominees of like, I think it was like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, The Five Bloods, Judas and the Black Messiah, One Night in Miami, like that's just like my thing. Like I love those other films, and I think that their ensembles were stronger than Trial of the Chicago 7. And for the critics to choose Trial of the Chicago 7, I was kind of surprised by that. I'm surprised, but I'm also not, because like Trial's gonna ride that wave, I think, and it's gonna get a Best Picture nom, and that's gonna be the Netflix big gun, when The Five Bloods should have been the big gun for Netflix, and I'm kind of disappointed in that. I am so happy that Alan S. Kim won for Breakout Actor for Minari. His speech, I was bawling my eyes out. That was just the cutest thing. I love that Carey Mulligan won. And I'm really happy that, because at the Golden Globes, they put screenplay together. So adapted and originals like together. So I'm happy that original screenplay went to Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman, and then Chloe Zhao won for Nomadland. So I think that's kind of how the Oscars how it's going to go. But you said before that nothing can be worse than the Golden Globes. I beg to differ, because those Oscar nominations are going to throw us all for a loop. I will tell you right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a tough year in some categories. I mean, there are a few that I think we've basically solidified who's going to kind of sweep and take home, like supporting actor, it's
Yes.
Kaluuya all the way, actor, Chadwick Boseman all the way. I mean, there's a few of them, and that's how it is every year. There's a few that you're like, yep, that's going to happen. Like Brad Pitt took it all last year, Laura Dern. I mean, like we know, but I mean, what the heck is happening in Best Supporting Actress? What are we doing here, guys?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm really worried, to be honest. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I said it in my video that just came out today talking about the Critics' Choice.
Mm.
I thought, and look, I try to stay as up to date with all of this award stuff as I can, because that's kind of a niche that I'm a part of.
Mm.
And I was under the impression that I thought Amanda Seyfried was going to roll, like just knock down everyone, and she loses Golden Globe, she loses this. I don't even think she's nominated for the SAGs. So
I don't think so either, yeah.
what's happening? I'm really shocked by this so far.
She was literally the beacon of light in Mank. I personally did not enjoy Mank because I'm not a fan of Citizen Kane, so that's just me. I love Fincher. I'm sorry, but the person that I'm kind of annoyed that they're leaving out is Ellen Bernstein, who was in Pieces of a Woman. I think that film just got like swept under the rug for some reason, even for Kirby. I'm just really surprised by that, because people were raving about it since the festival, since TIFF. So I'm just like, Ellen Bernstein gave one of the best performances of the year, and she's nowhere to be found. So that's another one where I'm like, is Maria Bakalova gonna take it home for bare minimum? To be honest, like I don't know.
I think it's gonna be, I guess, just an issue of people are going to be splitting votes, and it's going to be like literally going to be random. These people are going to split votes because they have no idea. I don't want to say what they're doing, but like, I don't want to say that because they do, but like they no idea what's going on. So I'm just kind of, this is the race that just makes me scratch my head.
Yeah. And it's not even like, I don't want to say this, because other awards, they were exciting. Like last year with Parasite, you had Parasite, Joker, The Irishman, Once Upon a Time. Like there were so many big films and big directors. You know what I mean? So it was exciting to like watch it. And now this year, it's kind of like, I don't know what it is. Like it's lost its luster in a way, award season. And I can't even put my finger on why it feels this way. But it's just the fact that like they're nominating, and I understand what you're saying, like you don't want to say they're doing it wrong, but we have to think of it at the end of the day that it's a general consensus with these votes. So like technically, if 1% more votes for Maria Bakalova instead of like Ellen Bernstein, for example, like that's a consensus. So it's up in the air for so many voters for that ballot. So this year is just, it's really just slow and kind of underwhelming for some reason.
Yeah, and it's like you said, I don't know if it's like the quality or maybe the quantity of quality movies. I mean, look, we were really, COVID just destroyed the release schedule. So there was like, it makes sense that it's a bit off this year, because they did push back the eligibility period to the end of February, which is good. But there are some films that came out right at the end, like Judas and the Black Messiah, that maybe aren't getting as much love because they came out right before the eligibility period ended. And then you've got some movies like The Five Bloods that came out all the way back in the summer that are now being pushed to the bottom because people just don't remember. Making that eligibility period 2 months longer doesn't seem significant, but it kind of is, because a movie that comes out in the middle of the summer, like The Five Bloods, when you get to December, you still are remember, you're kind of feeling it, but now we're all the way into March, and it might be left in the rearview mirror, unfortunately. I mean, Delroy Lindo's gotten absolutely no love, and
it's so sad. I personally thought that this was going to be Spike's moment. I thought he was going to win Best Director for The Five Bloods. I really did. So I'm just really upset because he's never won. And I kind of think that like Black Klansman was his most impressive for me. I've watched his other stuff and Black Klansman just was outstanding. So for him to just win for screenplay, not director that year, or even best picture that year, because I really do think that Black Klansman was that strong, was just so disappointing. So now, like when we saw the Five Bloods, we're like, it's Spike's year, it's gonna happen. Like no one's gonna top it. Like it was in my top 3 of last year. So to see it kind of slow down and lose momentum, and like Delroy's like nowhere to be found, like it's just it sucks. It really sucks because he deserves more recognition than what he's gotten his entire career, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. And again, it's just I think I don't want to say it came out too early because you can never blame a movie for coming out when it comes out,
Yeah.
but it's just everything that's come out in like January through February. It's just like you've got Nomadland, Judas, which Judas again we said has been kind of brushed under the rug, but
Yeah.
you know, Mank came out in what, November-ish. I think Trial came out in like October. So they're all there. It's just the unfortunate reality of they pushed back that eligibility period 2 months, which just you know,
It messed a lot of things up. It
it
did.
did. Yeah, and I get why they did it because the movies it just was they weren't coming out, but you know, it just sucks for ones like the Five Bloods because like when I saw the Five Bloods, I was like, oh, Delroy Lindo, that's it. Like, you know, I was like that's it. And you know, my opinion changed as I saw some other performances, but I was like, well, he's still gonna get a nomination, and now
Yeah.
he's just completely just gone, and it's brutal. But
Yeah.
you know, so who do you and I know your answer. I know what your answer might be based on what we've talked about, but who would be your favorite to win Best Picture this year at the Oscars? Like who would you? I'll ask two. One question: who would you pick if you had a ballot? And the second one is: who do you think is going to win?
Who I would the film that I would pick is Judas and the Black Messiah. Um, Besides the Five Bloods from last year, nothing has blown me away like that has. It was incredibly powerful, poignant, very emotional, and it's a hard watch. It really is. But stylistically, if we look at how like the technical aspects of what Shaka King did, it is such a beautifully made film. Like within I'd say 10 minutes, I turned to my dad and I'm like, this literally reminds me of The Departed. Like it's the same flow. It's very sleek. And it feels like a well-rounded film. Like everything, he did not miss a beat, Shaka King. And I'm gonna also be disappointed if he doesn't get nominated for director, but I think it's pretty loaded at this point. I would kind of switch out. Like, does Aaron Sorkin need to be nominated for director? Does he? I don't think so. I think his best directorial attempt was in Molly's Game, because I absolutely loved Molly's Game. I'm just script, obviously, like it's Aaron Sorkin. I'm not going to say that he shouldn't get nominated for that, but Judas and the Black Messiah as a well-rounded film, I would definitely award that for Best Picture. What is most likely going to take it home? It could go one of two ways. Nomadland has been winning, but it comes down to and I hate saying it this way, because the Academy, like one year is going to be really strong and award like a dark horse, like something they wouldn't expected, like Parasite, for example, or The Shape of Water. Like no one really expected those films to win, and it was a beautiful surprise. You know what I mean? So, and then other years it's like Green Book, and you're like, oh, okay, so Green Book won, but Parasite won, and it's like, what are you guys doing from year to year? So in this case, like Nomadland will most likely win because it's the awards darling, but do not be shocked if Trial of the Chicago 7 takes home Best Picture. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, those are kind of the two that I'm leaning on as well. I mean, I adore Nomadland. One of my favorite. I mean, I watched it after my list came out, but it would be one of my favorites of last year. Just everything that Chloe Zhao was able to do. Frances McDormand's fantastic. I love how they bring in real people, and it's not just all actors. I think that that's a great dynamic. And it seems like from what we've been seeing, Zhao is probably going to take home director, and you know, and it's taken home all. You know, it took home the Globe, which was huge. So yeah, it's tough. I mean, Trial, it's still a 2-horse race. I think I still believe that. I think that Nomadland's got a pretty hefty lead? Yes, but we are still a long ways away. There's still plenty more award ceremonies to come, things that could rattle everything up. I mean, it's like, I'm going to make a sports reference. It's like the Falcons are up 28-3 going into the fourth quarter against the Patriots, and then they make the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history.
Yeah.
Biased Patriot fan, but it can happen. And if we've learned anything about this stuff, we don't know what's going on until it is announced. So it's we'll see. I don't know. I love this stuff though. This is my bread and butter. I love talking about this stuff. It's just, it's awesome. But I think that's enough awards talk. I'm getting a headache just thinking about every time I talk about it, I just remember the Golden Globes. I'm like, that was really bad. So I keep getting a headache every time I think about it. Yeah, but let's talk about what everyone's been talking about. WandaVision finale.
Ew.
It happened. It's done.
Yeah.
All over. That was more than likely the series finale. I don't think we're getting any more WandaVision. And you know what? Rightfully so. I think they tied it up pretty well. What did you think of this finale? Did you like it? Did you not like it? I know it's a bit divisive. What did you think about it?
I don't know. I liked it, but there were so many issues with it. I just felt that it was so rushed, and they didn't tie anything up. There was nothing. Like, they left everything open other than Vision. Well, technically no, because White Vision is just surfing around. So they even like just left that. The post-credit scene also left the kids open. So I was like, what closure did we get? Like, other than Wanda getting closure, which is amazing, the whole show is about her character development. It's about her trauma. It's about her just completely understanding the root of that and like facing that, like face forward. Sorry, head first. I don't know why I said face forward. Facing that head first. And it was a very emotional series for her. So that's the good part about the finale, where she's like, I'm taking control of my own destiny about who I am and all that. So I really respect that they did that. But like, you're leaving Agatha in the middle of nowhere, and she's a witch, unless you like wiped her kind of memory a bit. You're just kind of leaving her there. And then it's all open-ended. There's no answers. And I kind of don't like that for a TV series that we're never going to see again, maybe, unless they do like a Scarlet Witch season 2. I don't know if that's going to happen. And I understand that it's tied to like other Marvel shows and Doctor Strange too. I completely get it. But it's as something that's connected to everything, they did as good of a job as they could. But for a TV series ending, like, it was really just, there was no balance to it. And the action was forced. There were scenes of dialogue that I just didn't buy, unless it was like a heartfelt moment between Vision and Wanda. And then what they did to Pietro, I will never forgive them. I just won't forgive them for Ralph Bohner. I will not ever. I cannot do it. He is my boy. And it just really upset me. I said this in my review today, that like, I think it would have been more effective to bring in Aaron Taylor Johnson. If we're going to deal with Wanda's trauma and her emotions, I think that would have been way more effective, and not have the humor that Evan Peters brought in, because I feel like he was just used as a punchline instead of really just hitting those emotional moments with Wanda.
He was a boner joke. That's what he was there for.
It's so annoying.
I know I'm laughing, but I really am pissed about that. Because if anyone listening or watching, if you followed anything I've said on live stream and stuff like that, the thing I've been trying to defend is that was the Fox Quicksilver. And that was the one thing I wanted to happen on my wish list, was like, it has to be. And the fact that it was just a boner joke, I will never forgive any of the writers ever. So I know I'm laughing, but inside there is a lot of pain. So I'm laughing the pain away. But I think you kind of covered it really well. I think I said this in a tweet, I think after episode 7, that this show was turning into a bridge to everything else. It wasn't its own thing. It was turning into, it was merely a bridge to get us from phase 3 really into phase 4. And I love the character development. I think season 8, I think episode 8 is one of my favorites. I know it didn't really further the plot at all, but just to experience Wanda in her grief, I think is one of the best things they did on this show. And her characters now, I would argue, one of the most complex characters in all of the MCU. So I just absolutely adore that. But it's like you said, they didn't really close anything. And so I said it 2 weeks ago and I got a little bit of flack. I think if I sent that tweet today, I don't think I would get any flack, because it's what it feels like. It felt like just merely a bridge to these other outlets. And the other gripe I had, and you also said it felt rushed and it felt forced. It's because you only had 9 episodes. Having episodes of filler, you can't do that with 9 episodes.
Exactly. So like, I completely agree with you. This could have been cut down, I'm telling you straight, like to 4 episodes. Do 4 1-hour episodes, give us like everything, all the emotions, everything, give it to us and tie it in a nice little bow. And that's it. Because also we watched this for 9 episodes and like we saw Wanda be like completely devastated from beginning to end about losing everyone in her life. She literally ends up alone after 9 episodes. What, like, and I don't want to say that it's pointless, but it feels kind of pointless. Like, we understand that there's a character development. She faced it. I completely get that. She came into her own. She's officially the Scarlet Witch, but she's still alone with nobody there to care for her. Like, what was, she couldn't have done this in her head. Like, it's also like, and I hate saying that because like I did enjoy the first half of it. With the sitcoms, it was something fresh and new when you saw that they were like they were dipping into the horror elements that we haven't really seen before, and I love that. I love the first half of this series, but then it's like you're not making her happy at all. It's like she's literally been through the ringer. She's as bad as Thor, because Thor's also like literally he lost so many people as well. So it's like you're not even offering her help. She's still in isolation. She's lost everybody. Why would you do this again? Why do I have to sit there and kill Vision again in front of her? Like, it's already heartbreaking.
It's just pouring salt on a giant gash on it just, and I'm glad someone agrees with me, because when I sent that tweet 2 weeks ago, all I was getting was flack and people were saying I was wrong. Well, look at me now. I have someone that agrees with me, thank God. But I think the way that other people might interpret it, just to maybe play devil's advocate, even though I'm completely on your side, is she's become her full self. She's confident in herself. And I like that. I get that. You know, the moment where she fully becomes Scarlet Witch is one of the best moments of the episode, I would say, in my opinion. Yeah. It's her reaching her full potential. It's her reaching her potential final form. That's great. Mm-hmm. But look at it from the vacuum of the show as an entirety. You know, like I was saying this exact same thing last week on the podcast with Chris, and he made this point, which I think is absolutely true. You could take the first 2 episodes and make them one long episode.
Yeah,
you could. 100%. I mean, they're great. I love the style. I love what they were going for, but they didn't push the plot forward at all, which is fine because it's the mystery. And I talked about this in my review as well. It's the mystery. At the beginning, you can get away with that. Yes. Because it's the mystery of, oh, what's going on? We got to see what are clues. But then when you get to the end, it's like, okay, well, the mystery's up. We know what's going on, and it's not satisfying anymore. And waiting 9 weeks to get to that conclusion and it ends like that, so open-ended, it's like, okay, well, now we got to wait a year till Doctor Strange. And I know that's not how originally it was planned. Originally, it was supposed to be this ends and a month later we get Doctor Strange.
Yep.
COVID threw that into a loop, and now we got to wait a year. So it's like,
see, what bothers me is that I think Matt Shankman is the director's name. He had an interview today, and he said that due to COVID, we had to change the script around. We had to change like the final episode, and it's like, why just let it, like, what I don't understand is that, like, why are you rushing to complete this? If Doctor Strange comes out next year, why would you rush the ending to complete this then? you're saying there's a cut of the final episode that actually ties things together a bit better than what you gave us. Like, why did you put it out? I'm sorry. Like, I'm thankful. God bless. We got Marvel content. Are you kidding? But if the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was ready to go and really doesn't tie in that much to like Doctor Strange or any other like Black Widow or any MCU film, like, why wouldn't you put Falcon out first? It just didn't make any sense to me. So hearing that is kind of like, but why? But why would you do this to your own show? You know? So like, COVID did change some stuff around, but like you have to look at your own situation of like how you're releasing phase 4. And I think they kind of like fumbled the ball a bit with releasing WandaVision first.
It's a little bit of self-sabotage because I think that it's either the review that you're mentioning or something I read a few days ago was saying there was a cut where Doctor Strange showed up in like a post-credit scene or some way, shape, or form. Doctor Strange showed up, and that could be completely wrong. That was something I read. I don't know the validity of that.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's true, why was he not there?
Yeah.
Like that was the one thing. That was the one because I tried not to make any predictions, tried to not buy into the theories. But the one thing that I said, like 95% chance it happens is Doctor Strange shows up, and it can be in a post-credit scene. It can fine, but it had to. He had to show up because we're going right into Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
You know, are the kids gonna have an effect in Doctor Strange, or is that going to be something we don't talk about until like phase 5?
Jesus, I hope not.
I would.
Theory, like literally my theory, I swear to God, like I hope that they address that because what's the point of the post-credit scene then? Like you need to connect it. My theory is that Wanda hears her kids and then she goes to Doctor Strange and she's like, listen, my kids are in here, they're stuck in another universe, blah, 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 blah. And then Doctor Strange is like, well, we can't get them out because of X, Y, and Z. And then Wanda kind of becomes like the baddie in Doctor Strange 2 because she wants to get her kids. So it's a possibility if they're going to pull the villain side out of Wanda. I don't know what's going to go down, but that's kind of my theory right now.
Yeah, at this point, I don't have any idea. and like, I don't hate that. I don't hate that.
Yeah.
I also don't love it because we were teased House of M. We're like, oh, this could be House of M. Oh, this could be this. This could be that. This could be one thing, the other thing, the other thing, the other thing. What? 1, 2, 3. Like, it was 15 things at once, and then it ended up not being any of those things.
Yeah.
And that is a little bit the fault of the fans and the viewers because at one point we thought Tobey Maguire was going to show up, and I said that's ridiculous, it's not happening.
No, I hear you, but also it was the issue with the media. It wasn't us. You have to admit, it wasn't us. You have to really think of who did all this, because if Paul Bettany didn't say I was dying to work with this actor for my entire life, the Al Pacino as Mephisto theories wouldn't have come out. You know, and like Paul Bettany saying that like needs a better publicist, because that's not something you should be dropping and trolling us that way at all, because you know we're going to take it and fly with it, you know.
I mean,
and, like even with Teyonah Parris, the aerospace engineer, did she have to quote saying I can't wait for you all to meet the space engineer? Like, no, you didn't have to.
I mean, yeah. And like, I'm always on the side of defending the media because that's what I studied. That's the industry I'm trying to get into.
Yeah.
And I get why they had to ask the questions every week because people wanted to know. So I get that. I'll defend that side. Mm-hmm. Paul Bettany is public enemy number 1 right now. Like, I love, like, shout out to Lights Camera Barstool. I love their podcast. They were the ones that got that quote. And one of their hosts was like, he comes on, compliments my outfit, then lies directly to my face. I will never trust that man again. And I was like, that.
Oh God.
I don't even have the words to articulate
how
frustrated I am about that. The aerospace engineer didn't really make me that mad because I'm like, it was a cool tie-in, pushed her to get to her full potential. Sure. But Paul Bettany, man, that mother, if I see him on the street, oh God,
on site.
I'm gonna have some words for that man.
I know.
Yeah, but I mean, final thoughts. What are your final thoughts for the series as a whole?
Going into it, a lot of my friends know that I was just not hyped for it, did not care for it, because I never really cared for Wanda and Vision in the MCU. I didn't buy their chemistry, I didn't buy their relationship, so it just caused me to not care about it. And then I watched the first 3 episodes and I was like, you know what? This is a completely different vibe. For their first time out to do a show like this, it's really cool. I was sold. Perfect balance between the horror elements and just the fun sitcom comedy. I really enjoyed like that being meshed together, and there was kind of like a formula in the first 3 episodes where it would be like in the first half of the episode it'd be really comedic, very light and fun, and then you get that big moment or that big reveal. You're like, oh my God, what's happening? And then I think the best part of WandaVision was discussing it every single week with everyone. And that's what Disney Plus was able to do with the streaming every week. And that's the bonus. It's everyone that we converse with along the way. And I think that's the most important thing. Whether I like the show or not, that's what I take away from it, because that's what they gave us. It's good. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars on my Letterboxd. I didn't write a full review, but I did a YouTube review for it. But it was good. It was a good first time out. And I also do think with these Disney Plus shows, like, it's who you connect to more, right? So they're like massive Scarlet Witch fans. If they're like, this is my show, I love her so much, this is perfect. Whereas like I'm obsessed with Bucky Barnes, I'm obsessed with like Sam Wilson. Captain America is literally like everything to me. So I'm going to connect more to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it's more based on than the actual show as a whole.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And guys, I've already teased it. Weekly Falcon and Winter Soldier reactions, they're coming. I'm not letting that boat sail like I did for WandaVision. Absolutely not. But yeah, I mean, you guys are, everyone that's already been on my channel knows I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's a really inventive, fun way to do it. The pacing just sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just be nice about it anymore. But real quick before I let you go, we got to get you out of here, and I think I know the answer to this as well. What is your favorite MCU project coming up? And I know what it is, but just tell the people at home.
TV wise, yeah. So it'd be the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, hands down. Movie wise, oh my God, Spider-Man 3. Oh my God, No Way Home. If they do the multiverse thing, which I'm hoping that they do, I don't know if Toby and Andrew are coming, but if they do, I hope they keep it under wraps and they tell no one that they're in this movie like they did with J.K. Simmons, because that reveal in Far From Home, I literally jumped out of my seat and is one of my favorite theater experiences ever. So those are my 2 picks.
And I am exactly the same. So everyone knows that. So Amanda, thank you so much for coming on. This is a collab I've wanted to do for a while. Before you go, I'm giving you the Sean Evans Hot Ones outro. Where can they find you? What do you have coming up?
Thank you so much for having me. This was such a great discussion. So you guys can find me at AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. You can check out my website, candidxcinema.com, and you can find me on YouTube at Candid Cinema.
Absolutely, guys. I'll leave all of her links down below in the description. I'll leave my links as well. Thank you all for watching. Go check out my website, Twitter, Letterboxd as well. You guys already know where to find all of that stuff. Hopefully, Amanda, we can have you back on soon. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. Thank you all for watching or listening. Leave me a rating on Apple Podcasts if you're there. That would mean the world. And we'll see you in the next podcast.